Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we're going to review AEW All In. The PLE was just the other day, and honestly, it was a very long piece of work, but I don't think it was bad at all. Obviously, it's their WrestleMania type major event, and it definitely lived up to that. So many matches and so many curveballs, so we're gonna jump right into it. So first off, we had a trios title match that was completely just added to the card for the last second. Not sure exactly why they did this, but I guess maybe to just get more names on the card, I guess. I don't know. I figured this might have maybe this wasn't added and I just missed it from the first one because I didn't have it in my prediction video and I didn't see it anywhere before this, so maybe I'm just wrong about that, but pretty much the match itself was okay. I feel like we would get a lot more stuff going on here, but it kind of came down to Samoa Joe getting hurt, which is probably a work. I'm really thinking it is just because Samoa Joe is doing so much acting and stuff that they were trying to write him out and further this storyline, but I could be wrong. But the Ops retained. It was Ops versus Death Riders. I didn't even get into that part because this was just kind of thrown off. I put it in C. It was probably one of the weaker matches in this entire card. I don't think it was necessarily bad, but it wasn't good either. So, because that's the best way of saying it. Next up, we had the men's Casino Gauntlet match. This ended up being won by MGF. Anthony Bowens was in it. Bandito, Brody King, Josh Alexander, Juice Robinson, Takeshita, Ibusa? How do you Coda in Bushka? I'm not even sure exactly how you say his name. Mark Briscoe, Max Caster, Mystico, Ricochet, Roderick Strong, and the Beast Moros. Um, Honestly, I was kind of disappointed about this. This is one of the Gauntlet match was what I really wanted to watch between the men and the women on these. That's all I really cared about, other than just the results of the match. But this men's match was not that great. I don't think it was the worst. I do think that they've had better ones, and I do think they did have a lot of people out there to shine. But MGF ended up winning. I don't think that's necessarily even a bad thing. I definitely felt like we missed a bunch of people. Obviously, some people are hurt and stuff that we didn't get to be put onto the card, but it did definitely feel like there was lacking, especially in the candidates of winning, because MGF was in it, and when I was thinking about it, I'm like, who would be challenging? And nobody really looked like they would be the ones that would be next, unless it was just somebody that's temporarily. Even Takeshita, who I think is one of the best wrestlers on AEW. I didn't really feel like he was going to be the one that won this. So I put it in B. I thought it was pretty solid, but not much more than that. Then we get to this match. This match was actually ended up being canceled. Adam Cole is hurt, and he's going to probably be out for a decent amount of time. So hopefully he gets better as soon as possible. But it ended up being a fatal four-way between Dustin Rhodes, Daniel Garcia, Kyle Fletcher, and Sammy Guevara. Honestly, this match just suffered from probably being a last-minute thing. I really do believe this probably was a today or yesterday thing that they threw together to make it work, and I thought it was okay. Kyle Fletcher, I said was yeah, okay. I said he was in this. I really honestly, one of my prediction video, I figured Kyle Fletcher would win. I figured he would win here, but they ended up giving the kind of sentimental nod to Dustin Rhodes, which was pretty nice. His first singles gold in, they said 1999 or something like that. I feel like that must be wrong, but also could actually be correct. This match itself was probably low key the worst on the card. I hate to give it such a bad score based off of everything that was involved with it, but I feel like you kind of still have to do it, even if it's just kind of a last minute thing. And I honestly don't know how long they could have had. They could have had a week. They could have had, you know, whenever. It's been at least a little bit of time that they figured it out, but it just didn't quite work for me. Next up, we had Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. This match was going to be phenomenal no matter what. The Young Bucks are very one of the best tag teams, and obviously Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland are a top two in the top five wrestlers, so it was destined to be greatness. I thought the match was really good. I really do. I think there was nothing that I would say I could really pick out there to be I hated this about the match. I thought it was just overall good. The teamwork and especially the ending sequence was really well. So I put that up in S tier. It was my favorite match, obviously, so far. maybe it'll change by the time I get to the bottom. But yeah, I thought it was actually just really phenomenal match. Then we go to the women's casino gauntlet. This had Athena, Alex Windsor, Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, Megan Bain, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanala, Suyui from Stardom, Tay Melo, and Fekla, Thunder Rosa, and Willie Nightingale. So there was a ton of people. I really do feel like the women's one was way more well-rounded by getting people out there and doing stuff. Everybody seemed to look good. The only caveat that I hated is that everybody had like managers slash friends with like Sky Blue, Penelope Ford, and Anna Jay. They should have just been participants because they all ended up participating anyways, and they just seem awkward to just randomly then decide to do something and then be taken out. And it kind of sucked because I knew they were going to do that false finish with like Mina tapping out Sky Blue and thinking that she won, but it doesn't count because she's not part of the match. So that part was only the golden part of at least having those managers out. Everything else kind of was stupid to have that. But I think this match was far better than the men's. I think everybody shined really well, and there was a lot of good that came from it. Athena winning, I think, is the obviously the best choice. There was a lot of people that could have won this. I also really would have liked Megan Bain, Mina Shirakawa, any of those would have been great also. But I think this was the perfect person to put in there because it's just somebody who's going to absolutely give Tony Storm a ride for what is it? Ride for money? Yeah. Why did that didn't sound correct? I'm gonna put this in A. I figured it was definitely better than the men's, so I'd like to put it there. Next up, we had the what is it? The tag team three-way. It was the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed versus Patronage. Now, this one was one of those ones which I think if you look at from the start to the finish, it ended up being a little bit better. I wasn't really excited about this match. I do like Jet Speed with Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. I think they're phenomenal, and they obviously were ahead and above everybody else here, but I think everything looked good. And at the very end, after them losing, them turning on the Patronage turning on Christian Cage and then basically having Edge have to come down there and save him, or Adam Copeland, I thought was a really cool touch. And hopefully maybe we get a reunion of Edge and Christian before the end of all this. I think that'd be pretty cool. The match itself I thought was just overall pretty good. I don't really think there was anything bad about it. It was just kind of one of those solid matches. Be a match like that gets kind of like lost in the sauce of all of this because it's good. It was really good, but because there were so many good matches after this and some before this, you just don't really pay attention to it. Like I could not tell you 15 things that happened. Not 50, that's a lot. It's like 5 things that happened in this match other than like the ending that really stuck out. But overall, this was a solid B. Definitely deserved to be on the card. Definitely cool to see the Hurt Syndicate continue to win now, especially with MGF having that contract chance at, I think, All Out. Is that what it works? I don't know exactly how that works. I just know they're next in line. Then we had the triple main event, like they were going this. That's basically what they were saying it is. Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Now, this one's a 50-50 one for me because I honestly didn't have high hopes on it being like really good. I did enjoy it. I just think overall, maybe their styles, like I've never really cared too much for either of these two like women's wrestling in general. I think they're phenomenal wrestlers, but like just when they go out there, they really have to have an opponent that's kind of different. And it just kind of felt like they went through the motions. It wasn't bad. I definitely think it was definitely good to put on the card, but I think also we kind of knew it was going to be a little weird because Mercedes hadn't been pinned and there was just a lot. The I will say I'll give 100% big props to Mercedes' entrance with the car and the robe with everybody that she's defeated. That's really cool. But overall, I probably put it in B. It's probably the weakest out of the three B matches, but I still think it was really good to be put on the card. So I definitely wouldn't say I was against it. I just felt like it just wasn't it for me necessarily. It felt very long too, which is never good for a match. I don't mind a long match, but when it feels long, it's not great. Then we had our million in a lifetime, not million in a lifetime. I was gonna say once in a lifetime. I was trying to think of like something that's like pretty close to that, like once a decade match. I mean, Okada versus Omega is just one of those phenomenal things. I do believe this match lived up to all of its hype because it was so hyped. I feel like that's the only reason why like it's like you look at it and see all of their other matchups. This is probably one of their worst ones, but their matchups are just so godlike that it's like this is still better than half the matches that you see on the card. And that's where I'll put it. I'll put it up in A tier. I think it's definitely just a hair below that S tier, but I feel like the matches that are above it and stuff like that, I think definitely deserved it. I feel like tag match was well put together that deserved that S tier. This one was just really close to that, but it's a phenomenal match. Next up, and the finally, we had the main event for the AEW Championship. It was Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page, and in a Texas Death Match. Now, I've said this before, and I've said this a lot in this channel. I'm not a big fan of blood. This match is one of those matches that kind of fit the criteria of it being okay because it was like such a big thing. But I think my favorite moment in it is when Strickland came down and handed him the chain, because it was like they had that nasty rivalry and everybody wanted to go and take out Moxley. And I think that was a cool, nice touch to end this whole thing. And Daniel Bryan came in. I think Will Ospreay was there. Like they had a bunch of people trying to take out Death Rider members, so they'd have the ability to win. And I think it was great. I mean, I think it was a great decision. It was a great pull, giving Hangman Adam Page the title and ending this kind of reign of terror with Jon Moxley, at least like story wise, because it it worked out really well. But I think this is a S tier match. It was really long, so if you want to watch it and you haven't seen it yet, just strap in. It's 35 minutes long, but I think it's definitely worth it to watch. It's definitely probably my. Ooh, no, I gotta still go with the tag match being my favorite match on the card. But this is a pretty close second. But this is what I view it. I don't think the card was that bad when you look at it from top to bottom. Honestly, I think the two matches that are on the bottom is one a fake or real injury to Samoa Joe that kind of killed that match, and the bottom one is just a injury replaced match that seemed a little all over the place, but makes sense because it was last minute. But overall, I still think it was pretty solid. Definitely their best event this year as I die of try to cough at the very end. But yeah, if you guys like this content, we got all of the weekend stuff covered on the channel. So if there's anything ROH, WWE, obviously AEW, everything's out there with predictions ahead of time and um, obviously the match cards now. So if you guys like that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bye, guys.